Welcome to another episode of the Southwest Desert. I am your host, Alan. We will delve into the variety and uses of the yucca plant. The majestic yucca is an iconic plant of the American Southwest. With its dramatic flowering stalks rising from a basal rosette of rigid evergreen leaves, the yucca has captivated people for centuries. This episode explores the various yucca species found across the deserts of the Southwest, how indigenous peoples traditionally use different parts of yucca plants, and the unique pollination ecology that sustains these arid-adapted lilies. Please leave a like or comment. If you enjoy the Southwest like I do, hit the subscribe button. Our journey begins with an appreciation for the trees that early Mormon settlers called Joshua trees. These unique plants fascinated travelers making their way across the Mojave Desert toward a promised land. Joshua trees belong to the expansive lily family, with ancient ancestral fossils found in tertiary period rocks. Individuals reach heights between 30 to 40 feet, with 1 to 3 foot wide trunks. The branches contort into arm-like structures ending in clusters of rigid, spine-tipped leaves 6 to 9 inches long. The cork-like bark becomes deeply furrowed with age. Young trees do not branch until after they first flower. From March to May, the trees produce dense, heavy panicles of greenish-white flowers at branch ends. Though emitting an unpleasant scent, early desert peoples ate the blooms. The trees occur largely on the Mojave Desert, ranging into Inyo County, California, southwestern Utah, and northwestern Arizona. They go by various names, including Yucca brevifolia, Cleistoyucca brevifolia, and Cleistoyucca arborescens. Native groups historically harvested and ground the seeds into meal for consumption. More recently, the rotary-cut veneer has been used for souvenirs and surgical splints. In the chaparral of Southern California and the land of the Cahuilla people, the softly glowing cream flowers of chaparral yucca, or Our Lord's candle, grace the hillsides. Unlike many of its woody relations, this species, Yucca whipple, lacks a trunk. Dozens of slender leaves radiate from a basal rosette, their edges threaded with curly white fibers. From May to June, each rosette sends up multiple flowering stalks standing several feet tall, covered in blossoms that smell of citrus and coconut. As the fruits mature, the Cahuilla people historically harvested both the early flower stalks and fruits for food. The tender young stalks were roasted in pits before eating. The ripening seed pods could be roasted over coals. In the same region lives an architecturally dramatic species, the Spanish dagger. With aging, its simple or sparsely branched trunk may reach 12 to 15 feet tall. The smooth-edged green-yellow leaves measure anywhere from 1 to 3 feet long, conspicuously marked by fibers fraying from their borders. As with other yuccas, the flowers cluster in dense, compact panicles, here reaching 12 to 18 inches long. Ranging from the Mojave Desert into the Santa Rosa and San Jacinto Mountains down to northern Baja California, this species played a key role for Cahuilla people. Its strong yet pliant green leaves could bind structural beams. Further processing yielded quality fibers for weaving footpads, saddle blankets, and more. The roots provided soap, while roasted green fruits were eaten. The eastern Mojave near Colorado and New Mexico hosts Spanish bayonet. Though extremely similar to Spanish dagger, Spanish bayonet produces fruits 3 to 5 inches long that were often roasted while still green. Sweet and apple-like in flavor, the ripened black seeds fill the interior in orderly rows. Historically, the pods were picked green by indigenous groups like the Cahuilla and roasted over hot coals for food. The species is still called palmilla, meaning little palm, in Mexico today. In the arid lands of the Hopi, Navajo, Apache, and Zuni, another species called narrows-leaved yucca was vital. The Puebloan groups roasted and ate the sweet seed pods. Juices extracted from boiling the fruits assisted in decorating pottery. The yucca's dried flowering stalks facilitated fire starting. Leaf fibers served various functions, from pottery paintbrushes to decorative whips during spiritual events. Parts of the plant even entered religious rituals directly. Though it may resemble yucca species in a cursory glance, a related genus of arid plants called Nolina diverges in a few key traits. Most noticeably, the Nolina flower panicles are both smaller and more openly branched. The strap-shaped leaves are boat-keeled, meaning a distinct ridge runs down their underside. Two species occur in California, beargrass and Bigelow's Nolina. While each species had its own uses, the Spanish bayonet yucca was undoubtedly the most culturally important. Groups like the Tewa Pueblo turned the sturdy leaf fibers into rope and cordage. Luxurious fabric items further incorporated rabbit or beaver fur into the yucca base. The Cochiti Pueblo people harvested fruits for eating fresh or processed into sweet drinks, jellies, or fermented syrup. When whipped into a froth and mixed with water, the shredded yucca roots create an excellent soap still used in Navajo ceremonies today. The Zuni use yucca brushes and fiber ties while crafting ritual prayer plumes. Fiber whips likewise play a role in certain Apache, Ute, and Navajo events. And the intricate mountain chant ceremonies of the Navajo contain a dance where the yucca seems to sprout from seed to flower in mere minutes. Clearly, yucca plants nurture peoples as much as wildlife across the deserts of the American Southwest. The unique night-blooming flowers cannot self-pollinate but rely exclusively on a fascinating moth, genus Pronuba. The diligent female collects pollen from one plant into a ball she transports to fertilize another. While laying her eggs, she descends to deliberately push the pollen mass down through the flower style, ensuring pollination and some food for her young. The developing larvae consume just enough seeds to propagate their numbers without damaging yucca reproduction overall. This special ecological relationship dazzles biologists and underscores the interconnectedness of all life. The yucca has given desert peoples so much, from food and fiber to soap and ceremony. Yet, as modern development expands across the Southwest, both culture and ecosystem suffer. Will the stately yucca continue branching its temporal roots deeper through time? Perhaps if more people appreciate what arid plants and indigenous knowledge offer, the white man may curb his destruction in time to save species like the yucca for future generations. Our planet's great diversity sustains not just wildlife but also the human soul. Thanks on joining me in this journey through Southwest plant life. Leave a like or comment. I would love to hear from you. Hit the subscribe button for more episodes. Happy trails!